now, where Richard Kojonyako joins us live. Richard Kojonyako, what's the story on the UCC campus? All right, Richard Kojonyako cannot hear me, so let's cross over and go to Ivy Setoji, who's at the Ho Technical University. Ivy, what's the situation where you are?
Yes, Mama, good morning. So at the Ho Technical University, students are going through their normal duties. They are going for lectures. I met some earlier who said they are from lectures. Some of them going. They have Veronica buckets in every entrance, and before you enter the lecture hall, you are to wash your hands, and when you enter, you have to sanitize your hands. So yeah, everything is going on smoothly. The management is making sure that students adhere to the protocol here at the university. For now, we are unable to speak to the management because some of them are in meeting and some are also busy. But for now, at the Ho Technical University, students are going through going for their lectures. Some are also preparing for exams.
And that's Ivy Setoji, my colleague, reporting from the Ho Technical University. Let's cross over, if we can, to Richard Kojonyako. Otherwise, we're also going to get in touch with Dr. Seiram Kawo, who is also at the University of Cape Coast with the Finance Department. He's a senior lecturer there. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us. We're also going to be talking to Mr. Peter Auntie, who is with iFirst. But Dr. Seiram Kawo, are you ready? Schools have reopened typically. How is it like for you?
Thank you very much. It's Mr. Seiram Kawo. We are ready for the students to come. It's business as usual. Once they had left campus, we have been having our lectures with them online. The final years that are coming in, they are just coming for revision, and then they take their final exams, and then they leave campus. So as usual for us here, we are ready for them. All the protocols are in place. We are hoping to have a fruitful discussions and meetings with our students here on the University of Cape Coast campus.
Okay, so Dr. Kawa, it means that you've been interacting and having lectures with students online. So this is not like your very first time meeting them.
Not at all. We've been having discussions with our students. We've been having lectures with them. Our virtual system of lecturing is working. And so this is not the first time they are coming to campus to have lectures. We have actually done 3/4 of the semester before the students left home. And when they went home, all the notes and the rest were given to them. Zoom meetings we have been held with the students. And so they are just coming for revision, write the exams, and then they go back.
So what's your class size?
I have a class size of 650 students. That's the undergraduate level. We have some of the students who are about 400 students in the final year.
Do they all sit in the same class?
No, we divide them into various groups. And so the class that have 650 students have about 4 different classes that we meet them. But on the Zoom meeting, they are all together and then we have the lectures with them. But on the normal day, we meet them separately on different days and on different locations.
Okay, but with the changes now with coronavirus, it means that you even have to have a lot more classes. What's been the orientation from management? What's the way forward?
Thank you very much. We have the arrangement that have been put in place that the classes are not going to be more than 100. We have some bigger lecture rooms on campus that we are going to use for that particular discussions and lectures. New timetables have been prepared by management, And the students, as they report to campus today, would go through a formal orientation and the way they are supposed to behave on campus. This orientation has been given to all lecturers, and then we are all ready for the students to come in.
Okay, just finally with you, how is interactivity going to look like? Because it's part of, if you're in the class, you expect to interact with your lecturer. What's the plan with you in particular?
Okay, for me, I'm with a business school, and business school, most of the things that we do are technology driven. And once they are technology driven, there is the need for all of us to use the technology to do whatever we are doing. And this has been part of the program that we have been doing at the business school for some time. And so we are making sure that our students are addressed with the technologies that we are using. The challenge is that some of the students give a lot of complaints that they could not access the internet, the data bundles are high and all those things. But we try as much as possible to encourage them to make sure that they use the system just like the way they use the internet for their social media interactions, so that whatever that they are doing, they have to be part of it, because workers are working from home. Today, I'm talking to you from the office. Examinations for some professional bodies. I belong to Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. Last month, May, examinations were held from home. Students write the exams from the comfort of their homes, and scripts will be marked. These systems have been embedded in whatever we are doing. And so the use of technology, we cannot say that we are going to do without it. It has come to stay with us, and it is time for us to train our students to make sure that they use this system that will be beneficial to them.
All right, Dr. Kawo, you actually look upbeat, ready for what is ahead of you. So we wish you the best. Thank you very much for opening up and talking to us. That's Dr. Sarah Makawo with the University of Cape Coast School of Business, Department of Finance. He's a senior lecturer there. Let's also cross over and speak to Mr. Peter Enti, who is with IFES, the Institute for Education Studies. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us as well on News Desk. Mr. Enti, if you can hear me.
I can hear you. Good morning.
Okay, great. So with the reopening of schools, even though it's final year student, we still have quite a number of people showing up to the various campuses. What have you found out in terms of how this is going to go? First of all, they're supposed to be receiving some PPEs. We're not sure if all is in place. The report that we've received, at least from KNUST, it looks like everything is going on well. But what have you picked up?
All right, thank you very much. One of the issues that we raised before schools would come to life as we are witnessing today was that the government and the ministry should, as much as possible, provide the PPEs and all the things that are needed by the schools before or on the day of reopening. And we raised that issue because we picked from the grounds that most of the parents and the students and even the teachers were not that convinced that this. We're not that convinced that these things, as promised by the relevant authorities, would be provided. So it was heartwarming yesterday when we picked from the news that most of the things that are needed are being sent to the schools, as we rightly advocated for. Most of the schools, as your correspondents have been giving you updates since morning, have reopened. The students are going back to campus because for them, they have no choice because they are in their final year. Most of them were eager to finish school and go to the world of work and fend for themselves. So it was just an opportunity given them for them to just come and then do what they are supposed to do and leave campus. And we think that as and when we monitor the process and the reopening situation and issues come up, we'll be able to speak to it. But for now, everything seems to be in line as projected by most of us.
There's also the fear, because we still continue to record cases, that the fact that schools are reopened could also result in some spikes with our numbers.
Yes, that is a right kind of a fear that everybody would have. Personally, I also have that kind of fear, because when you look at the research that have gone on with this COVID thing and reopening of schools, some of these countries that reopened their schools had to shut down because it's led to a spike in the number of positive cases recorded. So that is a possibility. That is something that we cannot rule out. But then the most important thing, as we keep saying, is that we need to set out the health protocols and the right channel of communication in the event that we report some of these things. So that is what we are so much interested in, that in the event that a student is picked as having contracted the virus, what are the processes that these institutions will go through in order that they will, one, not create fear and panic, and two, stop the spread of the disease. So these are very important things that we are critically monitoring on the ground, that there should be a laid down protocol that in the event that the student is detected of having that particular virus or showing symptoms, what measures are the schools putting in place to ensure that this thing will not cause fear and panic, and also it will not spread in the campuses. On this, we will say that although government have a lot of things to do, the management of the various tertiary institutions have also a bigger role to play, because their management of cases as they come up would be very, very important for all of us, parents, the lecturers on campus, the students themselves, and everybody that is in the university community. So the management of the various tertiary institutions should be upbeat about these kind of things and putting the requisite measures so that they will not put their own institutions under public criticisms.
Okay, Mr. Pitanti. Just real quick, okay.
Yeah, I think that most of the complaints that were coming were that students were complaining of not having data and then access to internet. Now that they are on campus, I still think that the students the online learning can go on, because most of the campus have free Wi-Fi. So the lecturers who are still doing online, students can stay in their various rooms and hostels or whatever it is and continue with the online, so that it will still reduce the one-on-one or physical interaction among the students, so that maybe they meet once in a week and then they do what they are supposed to do.
All right. That's Mr. Pitanti. He's with the Institute of Education Studies. Thank you very much for the analysis there. Let's go back to the University of Cape Coast campus and join my colleague Richard Kojojako. Richard, what can you report for us this morning? It's day one reopening. Hello, Richard Kojonyako. All right.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Richard Kojonyako, if you can hear me, I see you are right in front of Adeshe Hall. What's the story on the University of Cape Coast campus?
Okay, so right in front of Adeshe Hall, you can see some of the students that are seated under some tents provided by the hall management. They are also putting up in certain things in place to enable them observe all the protocols before they gain entry into the hall. I understand that they will be taking through the necessary orientation on how to behave on campus. They are not to go to any other hall. The halls will not allow visitors in. So if you are, for instance, in the Adeshe Hall, you will not be allowed any entry to Atlantic Hall, that is very close, or any of the halls as well. So that is one of the things management of the University of Cape Coast, they have put in place. So right in front of Adeshe Hall, you can see the hand washing basin. They also have some of the hand washing items there. You need to wash your hands thoroughly under running water before you are allowed entry into the hall. I can see some parents drove all the way from Accra, from other parts of the country. They brought their children to the University of Cape Coast. Others also use public transport. But I've been speaking with some of the students. They believe that it is in the right order. Some but others believe that they could have still stayed in their house and continued with the online session. Those who said they had data and they were comfortable with that because they fear, they don't know, but they are still praying and hoping against hope that nothing will happen. There wouldn't be spike in the cases in Ghana and on campus. But I also returned from the University of Cape Coast Hospital, where they've put in place some measures, some isolation centers, some holding bay, and other things as well, to assure the students that they are adequately prepared to receive them on campus. So that is currently what's been going on. But as earlier indicated, when I spoke with the Director of Public Affairs at the University of Cape Coast, he said that they are not going to allow church services and other religious gathering or any other gathering on campus. Once you are admitted in the hall, that is where you are supposed to be. And unless you have some significant reasons or some important reasons why they should allow you out, then they will do so. So they are making all the effort to bring all those that were resident outside the hall. So those who stay in the diaspora, they are all to be accommodated in the hall. But I can tell you for a fact that the students started arriving on campus even a week earlier than today. So some of them have been in their respective hostels, and they are saying that they are comfortable in the hostels they are, and they will not be able to go to the hall.
Okay, so Richard, lectures have not quite begun. This is still day one, and so this is still a period of orientation, if you like.
Yes, so there will be about 2 days of orientation to let the students know what they are to do here and how they are to behave on campus. And I presume that lectures, they wouldn't really have lectures. They have tutorials, they have revision, and they have exams. So they are using this period to orient them. They say that that is a very key component of their stay here. So it is when they are done with that, then they will resort to the tutorials. And all of these tutorials, the revision and the exams will be done at the various large lecture theaters. The University of Cape Coast has about 6 or 8 of them. That is where these lectures are going to be organized on.
We pulled up one of those old files, so we've seen how typically the classrooms look like. Have you been told what it would look like going forward, observing the distance protocol?
Well, so if you, I think what the semblance will be what is at the frontage of Addition Hall, for instance. So the spaces are there, indicating that they are ready to go strictly according to the social distancing protocol. So I presume that they are going to keep the distance and the spaces in between students and the lectures. So they wear their mask, and they have also put in place no face masks, no entry policy. And so without any face masks, they are not going to allow anybody in. But what I presume the students will be waiting for will be the items that they are going to put, the PPEs that they send to the various universities. I do not believe that they have them or they have distributed them. Maybe they are going to do that in the course of the day.
Okay.
Some of the halls do not even have the thermometer guns ready, but others do have. And so as and when they are done with the orientation, then they will allow the students entry or access into the various halls of rest.
Okay, Richard Kojonyako, we wait for that report of yours so we can appreciate in terms of the seating arrangement there at the University of Cape Coast. But he also did mention that they have a holding bay, which is at the Cape Coast Hospital for the university.